We often hear stories of people getting lucky. Someone got lucky in finding their dream job, or they found that special someone, or they started a business venture and proved to be a success right out of the gate. Or somebody writes a song and it becomes a hit record. Our modern understanding of the word lucky is very superficial compared to Tolkien's definition of luck, which goes deep down the Hobbit hole. In this episode, we're going to be exploring Tolkien's definition of this magical word, luck. So a good place to start is by looking up the word in the dictionary. In the Oxford English Dictionary, the word luck is defined as success or failure apparently brought by chance rather than through one's own actions. Now, this word didn't come into the English language until the 15th century. And if you trace the roots of the meaning of the word, you will find that in the old Germanic language, there are a couple of words that are related to it, like gelingen or geluk. Now, in that sense, in the old Germanic languages, where the words, the language is connected to the environment, right, and to a wider force field, the word luck takes a different meaning. It is something that is connected to, one can say, the universe or the cosmos or the environment or to nature. So in that sense, getting lucky has a correlation to being connected to a wider force field greater than one's self. A clear example of a field that is connected to a wider force field and in which they considered luck to be something more than just coincidence is in the music industry. And that is what we're going to be looking at next. In the music world, musicians always talk about their writing process. And something that they always mention and point towards is that these ideas are inspired from a wider, higher force field, that it comes through them.
I went to bed, woke up 10 minutes later, and wrote Drops of Jupiter in 15 minutes. Just wrote this song and demoed it from a dream. And he was like, oh man, these are where all the special ones come.
Another example is that of Pharrell Williams, in which he describes his process in writing his many hit records.
We're in the universe. The universe is a part of everything that we do. It's so crazy for us to think, like, as individuals, everything comes from us. Your ideas, everything that you get is coming from a library of existence.
So as we can begin to detect a pattern of creative individuals who always allude to this idea of being connected to a wider force field, for them, luck is not something that just simply happens, but it's something that is connected to a much greater purpose. And now this leads us into a different set of songwriters which have this idea of being connected to the greater force field as a foundational principle, and that is of the evangelical songwriters. Now, in evangelical songwriting, this is a foundational principle, whereas in the secular songwriters like rock bands or pop bands, they always allude to this idea of being connected to something greater. For the evangelicals, that is a foundational principle. That is the basis from which they write their songs from. They are divinely inspired for the purpose of elevating the congregation. So in the evangelical culture, in songwriting, this is a foundational principle. So now let's move on to the next part, in which we are going to be exploring Tolkien's approach to luck. Let us now enter the world of Middle-earth, Tolkien's sub-created world. In The Hobbit, Tolkien uses a particular word with a particular emphasis, and that is of chance, which can also be analogous to luck. Chance occurs various times in the story of The Hobbit. In particularly in the first chapter of The Unexpected Parte, in which by chance Gandalf appears at the doorstep of Bilbo Baggins. And by chance, the dwarves arrive to his house and eventually intrude his home in order to convince him to go on an adventure. This happened by chance, by luck, right? But in this world of Middle-earth, chance and luck are connected to something much greater. As Gandalf often states, that there are greater forces operating within the world of Middle-earth. And this is something that Tolkien consistently points towards, that although there is free will and each member of the fellowship, must make their own decisions, nevertheless, they are not completely alone or by themselves. There are other forces that come in and intervene either by chance or by luck. So, for example, a lucky instance occurs when Bilbo Baggins and his party or his company find themselves in a predicament where they are being chased by wolves. Now they manage to make their way up a tree since wolves cannot climb trees. However, these wolves are not entirely ignorant. They decided that if they burned the trees, then they would force the company to either come down and become prisoners, or to suffer their their consequences, right? So Bilbo Baggins and the company are stuck up a tree while the trees are burning in the bottom. And at this point, Tolkien creates what he calls a eucatastrophe, an instance where it is almost undeniable that there is no good end or no escape. Now, by mere chance, coincidence, or luck, the eagles arrive, and they fly Bilbo Baggins away into the eagles' towers. So they were saved. They were rescued by the eagles. In Tolkien's world, this is not a random act. Even though in the story of The Hobbit, he was still developing his ideas of Middle-earth, nevertheless, he included a lot of his deeply rooted ideas in that children's story. So in The Hobbit, there are many instances where chance happens that is connected to a much greater power. So in conclusion, we can see that the words chance or luck take on a very different meaning and definition once we frame them around the ideas in which they are presented in both The Hobbit and also how they are described by musicians. Luck isn't something that happens randomly. In the creative world, creative types always mention a connection to some higher universal force. In the evangelical circles, the connection is more explicit. in which the songs that are written for church services are directly inspired from the higher universal field, i.e., God or providence. In Tolkien's fairy tale stories, he also includes this idea in his narrative, as in the example of his favorite word, chance, which often gets mentioned by Gandalf, alluding to the idea that there are other forces in the world of Middle-earth that are allied to the mission that Bilbo Baggins and the Fellowship are undergoing. So luck is something that not just happens, but is meant to happen. And if we are able to connect to this wider, higher force field, then we just might get lucky more often than we think.